Yeah. Well, whatever you're rubbing your mic with, now we can hear it. It's beautiful. Do you really? I don't use Twitch, so I guess I don't. You can't really. I'd have to like get an OBS system and all that shit to stream on both at the same time. I don't know how that crap works. Damn. Login day 966. I'm almost to 1,000, buddy. Please? Is that a promise? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm winning here, I see. Nice. I got neural sensors for a login. Not like I have 2,500 plus of them motherfuckers. It's okay. It's all for the helmet. What'd you name your helmet, by the way? Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, time to show you some builds. You don't remember what you named your helmet? You what? No, not yet. I don't think so. I have no idea. God, I love region chat. The only viewer right now, in this very second, is me, myself, because I look at the chat from my phone. I have a little stand for it. I don't have to. I don't have to imagine it. I'm living it, buddy. Brother, I'm living it, buddy, right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm the only one online, though. Nice. Clan is dead as shit. Let's see, I named my freaking helmet Fap Trap. It's a shame about Borderlands 4 and 2K and all that. I used to fucking love Borderlands 2 and all that stuff. Man. Borderlands 3 was not not my jam. Borderlands 4, I watched the trailer and it looks dope, but you know, if they're gonna want full access to all my information, they can kiss my ass goodbye. So, reminds me of some women I've dated. Warframe doesn't take all your information unless you give it to them. It's still your money. That's not all your information. Do you know? Do you know about? Okay, that's all you got. Did you know that though with Borderlands 4? Like Thunder was explaining it to me earlier. So their new user agreement apparently is that when you sign it, they have full unrestricted access to everything. Everything in your console or your system, whatever. Like full unrestricted access. I mean, we're talking like addresses, phone numbers, shit like that. Like real personal. And they can track how you spend your money and crap like that um, on your purchases online. I'm like, hell no. In fact, I have half a mind to freaking delete my Borderlands 2 games because I have the Handsome collection and I freaking love it. And I actually haven't finished some of my OP8 builds, but I haven't touched it in so long. I mean, it's like, am I actually going to finish it? I play Warframe almost full time now. I am adopted. This is a fact. Well, I hope so, because, I mean, my dad's gone, so she's lonely. You literally have no argument here that I can't have a perfect rebuttal for it, old guy. Welcome in. What? Damn, you you need to go rub one out, dude. Shit. Fuck. What is wrong with you? Somebody came and then left after hearing that. Fuck. Alright, so let's go into the Nova build. Well, actually, let's not get into the Nova build yet. I'll show you the other one I was working on. This one's more finished. Nova has shards that need to change. So we have a new Hildren build. And yes, it's using the Code of Bass assist. Alright, buddy. You leaving for the night or what? Or are you just going to be back in a bit? Alright. Well, be mindful of your health. So. Okay, so this Hildren build. We got 3 orange Talforge shards, a green shard, and a yellow shard. Cast speed, toxin status effects can now heal me, which is pretty nice because Hildren, if she takes any damage to her health, she's kind of fucked. So now, if we mod for toxin on any of the builds, like this is an example, we have blast toxin, then the toxin procs will heal. Same with the Ocucore. I modded for blast and toxin as well. And there's a reason we're going for blast so much. And that's going to play into those orange shards. Blast is innately on this gun, which is wild because it's infested. And I would think that an infested weapon would have natural toxin on it, but no, not any of these. So these Coda weapons, they're infested, but they're not technically an infested weapon. It's different. It's the tech rod and all that shit. But I got mine with electricity. Actually, the one I got had toxin, and I changed it to electricity. I'm going with DOTs here. So DOTs like blast, electricity, toxin, heat, anything that builds. Blast is a DOT in its own way, but it's not an infinite DOT such as electricity, heat, or toxin. Or slash. Even slash can build up damn near infinitely. So we're using the blast damage to pair with these shards. So we have 2 here that increase my max HP. And the reason for that we'll get into in a second. And then we have blast damage regenerating my shields, which assists in the shield regeneration rate in shield gating, along with just kind of overall survivability, because her shields are her energy. So being able to regen the shields while attacking and while using pillage is going to be really, really beneficial. The blast procs to give me max health is going to pair into Arcane Bellicose, giving me as close to that high enough power strength that I can get to reach a good threshold for pillage. And now we're not going to get a full strip of pillage. And that's not only just because the blast shards don't really cut it, and I don't get enough health off of this here to reach that threshold, but there is diminishing returns once your health gets high enough, but it does hit the cap eventually, and I think with Calervo I hit it, and it took almost 3k HP. We're going to be at like 1,917 if I remember correctly, or so. It's a little over 1,900 HP to get that, and it'll put us at like 75% strip, which is fine because then blast and the electricity from this here will do pretty good work. It's gonna stun, but then we also have corrosive on the companion. So now with that corrosive, we're going to be able to hopefully reach that full strip on various enemies that it hits. We're using Taxon for the shield gate mechanic with Guardian, and I believe it's molecular conversion. And then we have shield recharger, all that fun stuff. So another interesting synergy, which I didn't realize until I did some research later, reinforced bond is triggered by Haven with Hildren. Now I didn't really play Hildren a whole lot until more recently. I had some builds with her, but this time I really dived deep with her. Never really going to use Aegis Storm. Not my playstyle. It's there, and I'm never really going to use Balefire either. So it's easier just to have the 1, 2, 3 than the 2, 3, 4 for casting, at least for me. So we're not going to get a full strip, but that's okay. The way that we are boosting our damage, especially with the melees, and this is going to be pretty critical, is we're going to be using melee retaliation. No-brainer there, because the more shields you have, the more damage you get, and it does cap at some point, but it's pretty nasty. I mean, I've done some pretty funny damage with this so far. And then I started looking at these Tenokais, and normally I run the range Tenokai mod, or is it Opportunities Reach. And not only does it lower the window to 4 seconds, but it increases your range of your hit. Now, then I was looking at, where is it? The Dreamer's Wrath with the crit damage, and it increases your opportunity by 50%. That's good, and then you get more damage out of the hit. That's fine and dandy, but we're not really going for high crit chance, crit damage, or anything like that. This is all based off of DOTs, so blast, toxin, electricity is what we're focused on. So then I looked at this one, and opportunities occur every 4 melee hits. Now with a Tonfa, these are hitting twice every rotation of the blade. So you're going to be getting a Tenokai opportunity roughly every second or so. From some of the testing I've done, of course, having more enemies in the group, hit 4 enemies at once, Tenokai. Hit 4 enemies again, Tenokai. So you just swing heavy, swing heavy, swing. It's bonkers. So that's a lot of fun. This build is extremely fast. For some reason, Hildren is just way too fast. And do I have anything for movement on here? I don't think I do. So, no, there's nothing for movement on here. But because of this alone, we're getting that sprint speed and the parkour speed. And I think she's just naturally pretty fast. I mean, we got 1.26 sprint speed. Parkour velocity is pretty nuts. And her dash, which is normally a roll, it's kind of like Zaku's. It's just a forward lunge. So she moves very, very fluidly, which I absolutely love, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And then we're pairing Aegis here with the Taxon. So our shields are pretty tanky at this point, and it's just regenning and shield gating left and right. And we don't even actually hit a shield gate necessarily, but the shields recharge so fast. So we're loving it. It's beautiful. Corrosive projection on there to lower the enemy armor and just get as close to a full strip as we can, just to get the most damage out of the DOTs. And then the main kicker is Zada's Whisper. Now we are running a low duration build, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And we are going to be using Zada's Whisper to get those DOTs to detonate and recirculate, and it is pretty wild. So, and the similar build with the Nova that I had when I logged in. It's a very similar concept. So let's get into it real quick and just kind of show it. We'll just run solo for just a minute. Now, blast kills are going to give me that max HP to give me the higher power strength to get close enough to that full amount that we need for full strip. I could have probably put on Molt Augmented and really gotten there, but I just didn't see the need for it.
They have just shut down all systems.
If we really want to, we can use the Mater dash and get that extra power strength. Okay. Yeah, you can see that movement. It's just fast, fluid, direct. It's beautiful. Wow. I moved in here so fast the enemy spawns couldn't even keep up. That's wild. See all those Tenokai attacks? Just instant. Right there. How do you kill in Steel Path? Honestly, max out your mods. That's my best advice for you is max out your mods. And if you're trying to get endo, that's what the arbitrations are for. The arbitrations will usually drop a lot of those statues. You're a dick. So this is my buddy Cat. He's back. So yeah, the arbitrations are there and they're accessible at the beginning of Steel Path in the game, specifically for the reason of farming endo. So you use all those statues that you're finding and getting at each wave, and you use
I delivered a life
the
support.
Vitus Essence to get your
Activating it.
rewards from the arbitration vendors. But the point is to mostly get those statues, and that's why they drop so much as a reward system, or in the reward system, I should say. You convert that into endo, and I don't really use them that much anymore. I've got a ton of them. I definitely will need them eventually when I start adding more mods and stuff. So, but I've been playing for quite a long time, so my endo stockpile's pretty good. But that is the best advice I can give for doing more damage and being able to kill and steal path. Is it's just more of a grind to get that endo and max your mods out, and then comes the forma. So just make sure that if you are planning on maxing out your mods, you run some relics each time you log on, and go for forma. Because once you max the mods out, especially the higher level mods, they're going to have a high capacity cost. So you're going to need the forma to cut that capacity in half so you can fit more on the build.
Prepare for life support.
And then the rest is just knowledge of the game that you gain over time. You know, I didn't know any of this crap. When I started, I had a lot of coaching from a lot of old school players, guys that have been playing since it started, guys that have even developed strategies that are still used to this day. So that is my advice for killing and steel.
Additional life support has arrived.
So we got all the blast procs going. Let's pop Sada's Whisper again. It is a short duration, I usually forget it. But we can use the Aki core, and I have blast on it. So the way it works is once you have 10 stacks of blast, it detonates and does more damage. And this gun is just going to circulate that over and over. And then this one is going to particularly increases your status chance and crit chance with the special unique mod for it. What was that, a dying frog? What are you listening to over there? So this is just circulating the DOTs, blast and toxin from this. So the toxin is going to heal me in case I run into, and I had this issue before in testing, if I run into any health leech Eximus, it starts leeching her health, and there's no way for me to heal it. So I had to rely on these health orb drops, but I'm not running a purple shard for energy conversion because she does not use energy, nor am I using equilibrium. So that really put a red flag on the build, and I was running a purple shard for electricity bonus on my primary, but I didn't necessarily need it. It was just more additive damage, and so I opted to nerf the damage on the gun and go for more survivability. So sometimes less of something is going to be more beneficial in the long run than having the most of one thing. Absolutely. I have the pretty much worst weapon in the game, the Stug. It's a pistol. I just finalized a build with it where I can kill acolytes. It still takes like 30 seconds to a minute, but it kills them, and it's pretty good. I do have a damn good ribbon for it, but it is still a crap gun. I mean, there are weapons that will one-shot entire rooms. This thing will take like 30 something seconds to kill one enemy, but it works. So here's an acolyte, pillage, haven, Zada's Whisper, and blast procs. There it is. Zada's is circulating the blast damage, and the blast stacks are hitting the cap and detonating repeatedly over and over. Also, when blast does a radial explosion, it has a 3000% damage scaling modifier on the radial explosion itself. So, what are you talking about over there, dude? This is the new Coda Basilisk. This thing is broken. So the primary fire, I have my energy color black because it's so bright when you shoot it. But basically, it's got natural blast on it, and I have electricity DOT, so I'm running blast radiation electric on this, and it is decimating. I also have hunter munitions, and I did have a toxin progenitor element, and I ran a cold mod to make viral, and that did really well. So you can go either way. I just chose to go with the synergy for this build with this gun specifically. The new update, I'm not too up to date on like all the news for it. I've been more focused on things with work. Oh. So it's a bit fuzzy to me on like all the details, but I am hoping that Araxia is going to be a lot of fun. She seems like she can go either way, and we won't really know until she drops. That's kind of how it goes. And with Tennokai, you can charge your incarnates, so these Tonfas are incarnate weapons, and the bonuses when they're in incarnate form are even better. So the fact that you get Tennokai every 4 hits is actually really nice because you can charge that incarnate really quickly. Now the alt fire of the Fast Assist does force impact, and magnetic procs. Now it also carries over some of the elements you have modded, but it's a very unique alt fire. It's not really doing much damage to 4 necessarily, but it is pretty good. He's teleporting a lot too. Stop moving. I don't know where he went. But yeah, this is the Hildren build. And this has been so fun. So for the most part, she is completely tanky. Like if you're not paying attention to your shields like I wasn't earlier and I went down. And it happens. Like that was a Leech Xmas I just killed. Trying to out heal it with all the toxin procs. And it works. Akicore is like the freaking one of the best pistols in this game. This thing will just carry you through everything. I need to make a second one because I've already filled all of my configs for it. There's no way I'd be able to fit any more builds on this. I need to get another one. But yeah, blast procs and electricity, toxin, heat, / any infinite DOT is going to be really, really good. Really fun. And it's going to be much more beneficial, especially with the Zada's Whisper scaling and circulating the damage. Yeah, and you know, when you do the arbitrations for getting your endo from the statues, you're going to be able to buy all those galvanized mods from the arbitrations, which is really critical because those are going to be like the backbone of most of your weapon builds these days. Those galvanized mods are unreal. They have been game changers far beyond anyone's expectations. So, and the fact that like the melee mod Condition Overload used to be the only mod of that type. And now they have the galvanized mods, which are basically gun CO. And what it does is it takes all statuses and adds a percentage of damage per status effect and multiplies it. So Condition Overload's old text used to say 120% damage per status effect on the target. Now, if you were like old Warframe, you couldn't really get that many on there, but like Mirage, Warframe that could get heat, cold, toxin, and electricity on all the enemies at once with her explosive ledger domain, and then you could mod for unique status effects like corrosive, viral, radiation, gas, anything like that. If you were able to stack all those on there and you had 120% damage with each status effect, like that was why Mirage was just one of the most powerful frames and like the biggest powerhouse in the game for a long time. Saren, of course, has always been powerful due to her scaling capabilities, but Mirage was the one that really took that specific mod and made it shine, in my opinion. So there's, of course, many other frames that could probably do it, but and nowadays you can do that with anything. So with all these new mods that have been out, especially the unique status effect mods such as radiation and magnetic, you can mod for those without having to combine elements to make it, giving you more options for more elements and scaling your C up. And it has just made the damage in this game unbelievably powerful. Just it's wild. It's like Dynasty Warriors on crack. There's that incarnate. Alright, that's another acolyte. We just hit the 10-minute mark. We'll go ahead and dip out of here. And those DOTs are still going off even though I haven't really touched them. So like, you can see the little numbers. It's all just going. And sometimes they stack so fast, it just kills them outright. And that has to do with like your multi-shot or your fire rate. But see the movement, see how far I'm going with that in one jump. From all the way over there. That's 79, 80 meters. We're leaving, but why not? So, yeah, the movement on this build is pretty insane. I've enjoyed it.
They fought well. Good dance.
Oh, good lord. Nice. You logged on just to tell me that in the chat. Okay. So, that's Hildren. This is the Hildren build I've been working on. And finally got it dialed in. I did sacrifice some shards off of my Calervo build to make this, which the shards were unnecessary. It was just kind of more of a gimmick, just because it was funny numbers. Giving him 411% power strength, completely unnecessary. Calervo doesn't need that much power strength at all. So, the Nova build that I remodified today, and I've been loving this Basilisk, and it does the blast damage. So, Nova, we're running a similar setup, and I'm going to be changing these blue shards out, and probably one of the yellows for orange shards as well. It's going to be a very similar setup to Hildren's. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing, except this build is going to chain damage across the map. And this one, we're opting to use both Bellicose and Augmented. So this will give us 72... We're not going to get 72% off of this. We're just going to get a little bit more. So we're going to have 60% power strength off of this, which will push us over 100% here. And then we're going to get another, I think right now it's 18% with the health that we have. So once I get the blast shard on to increase my health, we'll see what it goes up to. And we could test it right now. We could take the shards off Hildren and put it on there if we want. But this right here is sufficient enough to kill, and we're going to go ahead and do it. So an old way of modding Nova, if you're newer or not and you don't know this. So the changes allow you to now hold to cast or tap to cast her fourth ability to give you either speed or slow. What we used to do in the past is slow was power strength, and negative power strength, anything under 100%, was speed Nova. I prefer to use speed, but if I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I can slow them down just by holding or tapping. I usually tap for speed and hold my ability for slow because I prefer the speed more than anything else. I want enemies to come to me as much as possible, especially in a survival. The faster they get to me, the faster I can kill. I went with a lot of range on here, and the reason for that is because of the detonation radius. So it's a 26.5 meter explosion radius when they get hit after they're primed. These now will seek out enemies up to 26.5 meters. Seems like maybe it's the 21.2. Regardless, these will be recharged by the augment. We're going to be scaling the DOTs. Cat, what are you playing in the background? That is distracting. God damn. Yeah, it's random. So, again, Zada's Whisper is going to scale the DOTs and circulate it. And we're going to be getting a lot of damage out of hard-hitting weapons, such as the Bass Assist. The Prisma Angstroms Incarnate is really good for getting high damage. But really, I'm going to be throwing my Zod. This thing's a heavy hammer, and it does really well. Did you what? I can hear you. What are you talking about? You're a dick. Okay. This one is retaliation. So, but I could do exposure for the corrosive damage, but we're just going to go ahead and leave it on retaliation since Nova's uh, whole build here is also regenning my shields with this orange shard from blast damage. So we're going to be running a similar thing. Give me just a moment. Since cat's been a bit distracting. Alrighty. Just kidding, I didn't mute you. So, let's go ahead and get into this. This is more of like a chain reaction build. And it's quite fun. I enjoy it. I tested it earlier and it blew my mind. And because we have more duration on this now, or decent duration, the duration is going to carry the wave of the molecular prime farther out. And then because we're using speed, any enemies that are hit on spawn are just going to rush to us. So that's kind of the whole point, is to get the enemies to us faster, to make sure that they're not lagging on getting to us, because that's what we want. Let's see, did we get like the same tile? No, we didn't. Are these guys gonna follow? Okay. So the radial explosion is gonna be, yeah, like that. It just detonates. And sometimes you'll see the damage numbers go back. Put on Zada's Whisper. And then the explosion itself is blast damage. You can see it just chaining back there. So it's really nice when you have like a crap ton of enemies across the map and you just hit that shit and it freaking goes. So put the first ability on. Oh look, we got a funny boy here. Look, see the blast proc's already taken off after that one hit. Do it again. Guess we got the stalker here. I'm not sure what we're going to have to do with this guy, but he's not going to last long. Where did he go? Brother, there you are. He is on my cheeks. There he is. Oh, he's gone. Okay. So Stalker's gone. We got him. I didn't think he could turn my abilities off, but apparently. And like that, it just chained across the room. Bam. And they might not all die exactly at once, but it's still chaining the damage. And so the higher the amount of damage you get, the more that chain is going to scale. So I know Nightmare Frame did something similar to this with the one of the Zeraman weapons, the Felarch, I think it was, the shotgun. And some other people have done it, and Clerigo kind of does this, but he's got Collective Curse, and that's kind of limited on what he can chain, as long as it's in view. This just hits everything in the map, so it's like even better. But hitting something with like a shotgun like that is gonna chain it as well. This doesn't hit nearly as hard as the Felarch, just because it's the Felarch has a unique status, or a unique upgrade to its Incarnate, but it doesn't apply to just the Incarnate mode. So that's why that kind of probably be the best for this, but I prefer to use something that's a little more AoE based. Pop this, Zada's Whisper, let it spread for another 4 seconds, and bam, they're just going. Are you really watching ASDF videos over there? That's funny. Yeah, so like those guys all died to the procs, and I was just standing here waiting to shoot them, really. Like, see, it's still going. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. My pet also is procking a ton of statuses around the map constantly. You'll see like a blue line of elements come up. That's the companion and his copies, like that, popping off. So my molecular prime is being detonated by my companion alone, and half the time I'm not really even getting the kills myself. I can, but yeah, like those numbers there were the companion. That was not me. Like that right there is all the companion damage. I'm not doing that. So it's a pretty nutty setup. And just, yeah, like I had reiterated in a stream before, your build is not limited to just the mods you put on the frame. It is not limited to just the weapons you're using. It is also inclusive in your companion. It is inclusive in your gear wheel, choosing which specters you want to use. Like if I feel like I'm having a struggle with my survivability, I don't have any crafted right now, but a Dante Spectre can give you overguard that you won't get normally. That is part of your kit, and the weapons that you choose to give that Spectre can also proc elements for you based off of innate weapon element affinities. So with that in mind, you can build your entire kit, including your gear wheel, to have unique things. So like I think this is a Valbon, this is a Wisp, she can give me electricity procs. I have a crewmate with the Kuva Shakur, which is blast damage, radial explosions. She'll trigger explosions off my molecular prime, and I believe mine had radiation on it. I might have changed it, I'm not sure. I got it years and years ago, and I haven't really changed it since, I don't think. So it probably still has radiation. If not, then it's more likely got toxin, because I think I did a viral slash build with it. Could be cold. Cold's an interesting one, so it'll actually give you, what is it, crit damage off of cold procs, I think. So anything that has a cold proc on it can get increased crit damage, especially when it's stacked to its max. But I think it's 5, but I could be wrong. Zados, let that spread throughout the map. We're regenning our shields. You can see I have over shields, and that's due to, I believe I was running Brief Respite, as well as using the blast conversion shards. So blast damage has just been a beautiful element to use, a beautiful status in general. And it's always been kind of fun and unique in the past, but it's never done anything like it has until now. And it is so good. Do you like trains? I see. Can't wait to enjoy this bagel. What? Steal your bagel? I'm pretty sure I've told you that at least once. Oh boy, it's doing that thing where it's not dropping. Here's an acolyte. Bam. Holy! That acolyte just got nuked. And I think my pet did it, because that was... I don't think I did that. I missed my shot. Something about Boomer? Yeah, I saw it earlier. Alright, so we've been in, what, 7 minutes now, and our kill count is at 632. That's pretty freaking good. I mean, so it's probably like 100 kills less. So like 500 kills in about 5 minutes, that's 100 kills a minute, roughly. I mean, we're a little under 100 kills a minute, but that's also because we were probably had some delay time in the beginning for about 30 seconds or so. So we'll wait till that 10-minute reward and we'll bounce out of here. Oh yeah, I'm in farming form. Just insane, insane damage off of this. I totally forgot I wasn't using the incarnate though, so. And you can recast the first ability with Nova, with the augment on, and it will do heat procs on everything. So that's another DOT, like we were talking about before. And they will not only do that, but they also do blast on contact. So they are doing blast and heat, which is kind of cool. Now I think there's a bit of a delay on the recast on this compared to the past, because we used to be able to just spam the crap out of it. And I mean, like, just boom, 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 boom. But right now it's not doing it. So I think they might have nerfed the cast speed and added a limit on how fast you can cast it. With good reason, because it was pretty gross. We had this on Ember, and with all of her heat bonuses, you used to put Null Star on Ember with the augment, and it would basically just heat nuke everything over and over and over again, and detonate. It was pretty broken. I went into Hydron a few times, and it didn't used to have line of sight, so they also changed it to that. The no line of sight, it would just go through walls and blow up everything. It was pretty crazy. Do you remember that, Kat? You remember the Ember nukes I made with Nullstar? I don't know if I ever showed you those.
We will all share in this bounty. Hold out as long as you can.
Alright, we hit that 10-minute mark. Let's get out of here.
Extraction is ready.
And there it is. That's the Nova build. A lot of fun, and I can't wait to get the other shards on there to make her power strength higher, making those detonations stronger, and hopefully that will make the nukes a little bit more consistent. I could probably just scrap the shards off Hildren, but I'm really loving that Hildren build the way it is, so I'm just going to wait until I can make some more Topaz shards down the road. Yep. So there we are. There you have it. That's the build for Nova. What else do we have? Let's see. We've got. Here's a fun one. So Banshee. Banshee's an interesting one. So with the Chlorophyll, which is unique in its own way, it's a scythe that's also a gunblade. You can trigger the headshots that are required as weak point hits for evade. Now this is important because it's kind of hard to keep evade up unless you're playing Cyto 9, in my opinion. But this is almost effortless. It's actually kind of busted. And I don't remember what shard I was going to put here. Probably the melee one to scale the damage of the Chlorophyll. But it's already hitting so hard, doesn't even matter. So what we're running is just a lot of range, flow to get that energy higher, so that when I do get that purple shard on there, then we're going to go ahead and have that scaling for the crit. We're going to run, where was it? I think it was not truculence. I had it on here somewhere. This one, Crepuscular. So you gain 30% ability strength and 3 times final crit damage while you're invisible. This is going to be important because we're going to be maintaining this as long as we can. We have 185% power strength now. Or no, 155. I don't know why it told me 185. That's probably from the Nova build. It's just giving me glitch numbers. So we're going to get another 30% here. It's going to put us at 185 again once that's on. So maybe it's just showing me what it's going to be. But then we're going to add another 60% on top of that. So we're going to have a lot of power strength. And we're going to have a lot of high range, neutral efficiency, and some decent duration. This is going to be fun. We have the 2 Umbral mods for the health gains, and I believe I was doing that also for the Tau defense, and that was because I was running her in a lot of different missions with sentience originally. But also, just having vitality on her makes her a little bit more survivable. She is pretty squishy. Her armor is low. I mean, it's 135. That's pretty bad. So on here, we're going to get weak point critical chance with our aura mod, making that chlorophyll while we're in evade hit that much harder. So we're going to go for, again, blast. It's just been that good. We're not using Zada's Whisper to cycle it. We're just going for straight damage. So let's get into it. We got some crit chance and some status chance on there as well. Didn't touch on that. So it doesn't need to be a whole lot. And then, yeah, this is the projectile statuses here. We're getting pretty good numbers. And she is squishy, so I'm still working on some of the kinks on this, but this is a pretty good setup. In fact, let's go to a different map. Something with hallways is always nice because you can group the enemies a little better. So like a ship like this would be perfect. And I like this planet. It gives me nanospores and other good resources.
These are worthy foes. Underestimate them at your peril.
Yeah, the great benefit to Banshee is she has silence. So you can get a lot of benefits out of using silence to nullify Violence's silence. And we have so much range, it's going to shut down the abilities of anything in the area, including Exodus. If I remember correctly. See how we're triggering those headshots and weak point hits? And that bolt, it can go over the tops of their heads, and it's just going to hit them so freaking hard. Okay, so now we're going to pop sonar, silence. We're not going to be using the first ability at all. But we will be hitting these weak points, and that timer is going to keep going up for that evade. And this does not take ammo because it's a melee, it's a gunblade. So we're not consuming ammo when we're doing this. We're just straight attacking like it's a melee.
Ready for a capsule.
I know some people that there's some people that have complained that Banshee is not able to trigger the weak point hits from her sonar with anything, because they like the actual weak point hits if you shoot one, like if it's not the head, like the shoulder, it's not triggering the evade. See,
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy
it's not
more
doing
time.
it. But if you get the melee and do that, there we go. Timer went back up. It's that simple. So I don't know if Pablo's worked on it or if he's thinking about it, but for now, it is what it is. This is like the best way to go. Who knew? Banshee could just dominate a map and not even be seen. And you're not limited with like mobility problems like you would be with Avara. Get all the damage multipliers from the weak points. Looks like we lost it due to something, not sure what. And then you can just melee with this too, like it's not even a big deal. This thing does good damage. And there she is, a little squish ball. So we're really relying on the invisibility to stay alive. it's pretty important. So she is very squishy, and that's why we choose to stay invisible with her. And the key is to kind of shoot over the tops of the heads of things, because the headshots, when you barely hit it, is what triggers it the most. I'm not really in a good position to get some of these, but yeah, it's still a work in progress. But in theory, this has been pretty good. I can't remember what map I was on. I had a really good location at one point, and I could basically aim down one hallway and then down the other. It worked out pretty well. Sometimes choosing the map and the layout of where you're fighting can be pretty key, especially with certain builds. So as long as you know where those are, what tiles, things like that, you can kind of set yourself up for success in the long run and farm a lot of resources that way. There we go. We're keeping that up now. This is kind of a weird spot to fight with her, but it is what it is. Getting those headshots, aiming above the head, letting the radius of the bolt kind of clip the heads, and that gives you those weak point hits. And just melee her or him, whatever it is. There you go. And also, when silence is on, when an enemy first initially comes into contact with it, it gets finisher damage multipliers. So that's kind of cool. Here's a hallway. This would be perfect. Yeah, we're playing Banshee. It's one of her natural abilities. No, it's absolutely the same. So that's why some people run. Yeah. Yeah, so when they're stunned from silence, as soon as they enter that stun animation, they technically get stealth damage multipliers on hit. But it only lasts like a second or two, so you got a really tight window for it. But it is a thing. You bastard! I love you. Okay. Only on Thursdays. Oh, you're falling asleep. I can guarantee you. If you're laying down, you're gonna fall asleep. Oh, are you? Nice. Your discomfort brings me joy. Just wanted you to know that. Uncomfortable as shit, still passes out. Imagine. So, your leg. You guys got a lot of mosquitoes down there? Might want to see a doctor, buddy. I do, but I'm in transition between work locations, so I don't know. I think my current one's still active, but it's all the same company. It's just different states. Yeah, so we're getting all these headshot multipliers, and then I casted silence. We get some stealth damage multipliers as well for just a second or two. We do have a lot of range on this. The base range of silence is 20 meters, and that's at 100% range. So that's usually more than sufficient for most builds. You won't really need any more than that. So a lot of people that run silence as a helmet on frames usually run neutral range or like just a little bit higher, because silence is also the same 20-meter range. We're getting almost 50 meters. We're 49-meter range on this. That's insane. That is too much. That's hitting so much of the map that it doesn't really do us any benefit with the stealth multipliers. But what it does do is it shuts down ability casts, especially from Eximus too, from what I understand. So, like this Eximus, he's got all his lights around him, but he's not casting anything on me. You notice there's no tools on the ground of like blue light or anything like that. So I'm assuming I'm right. They had talked about silence being able to cancel out Eximus abilities. I think that's what it's still doing. I know that it will cancel out the Acolyte's abilities, that's for sure. Looks like my dogs are killing everything too fast too, so it's hard to keep that invisibility up. I'll probably change the companion out at some point. But yeah, this is Banshee. This is how I'm choosing to run her lately. The other weapons are all in the build because it's good to just have backups for anything that you need. But really it comes down to the melee, the chlorophyll that we're using. And there it is. See how the kill count was. A little lower on the kill count end. Could have been the map layout, but it is what it is. Just fun synergies. So they don't have to be something where like you're gonna be the top damage dealer in the mission with all the other guys running with you. But what it is gonna do is it's just gonna be fun to play, and that's the main thing. So I wanted to take each frame and make something fun to play. I was working on Degath the other day. That was pretty fun. What else do we got? Loki. Loki's a build that I haven't showed yet. So I did some fun things with Loki, and I don't even have any shards on him yet, and it's already just kind of busted. So we're using Aura from Eyes to crowd control and armor strip enemies. And we have 243% power strength for the sole reason of scaling his augment. Where is that thing? Damage decoy. So decoy can be cast on enemies. Enemies who attack that decoy receive 5 random status effects, and the reflected damage is increased by 350%, which scales with power strength. We are invisible, so we're getting 30% ability strength from there, plus the 3 times final crit damage multiplier, plus 60% power strength from Molt Augmented. That right there is 90% on top of this, so we're already well over 300. And Decoy is giving an 850% damage reflection multiplier. And then we're going to be invisible for 30 seconds, or a little over that. Switch teleport's kind of fun, like when you're playing with teammates. Someone's late to extraction. Loki actually can switch teleport someone into extraction, and so what happens is he pulls the target to him and then takes their place. So if you're standing in extraction and pull someone to you, you can all extract at the same time without you actually leaving right away. Kind of nuts. I found that out trying to make my cousin get a little faster at the game. He wasn't learning how to bullet jump when he first started. So Aura from Eyes is just going to be that edge of survivability. And it's also going to add heat procs to everything that we're looking at, which is going to be really nice for just additional DOT damage. Are you snoring again? And this is a melee build. So I'm running the Argonac, and the only reason I'm running it is for this. I did mod it, modded it all out just for the damage, in case I feel like shooting with it, but I'm not going to be using it for that. We're going to be using it for this +3 punch through damage from daggers, and the daggers reduce armor by 6, so they will also assist in armor stripping at the same time. And then enemies are revealed by punch through. So Punch through means that it can go through walls. Now, the kicker with this whole entire thing, with that punch through, is that we're using the Okina Prime with its incarnate. It creates spectral daggers that seek enemies. Now that punch through, and I'm still kind of, I haven't really like looked at it completely, but that punch through will go through walls if these are seeking. That's my idea. They apply cold status, and then we're looking at things with heat. I don't think it's going to make blast, but it is still a DOT and it is crowd control. So cold is going to additionally slow enemies down, which is great. Then I have it modded to increase the base slash or base damage and 5 additional combos on targets affected by slash status. Give it more range. More range is never better than melee. And then increase the base critical chance and the base status chance by 2% and 8%. This is how I'm running it. We have it modded for electricity, radiation, and then it's got its natural slash is higher, impact puncture kind of low. We're running melee influence, and we're running spring-loaded blade. So each one of these, the IPS counts as a status, as well as radiation and electricity. That is going to trigger this to its maximum potential because you're guaranteed to proc at least 2 of these, and it only gets 2 stacks. So we're going to be getting a lot more range out of this, which is going to be beautiful. This is for the heavy attack efficiency, along with giving us more range on the Tennokai attacks, which is kind of why I was going with the efficiency, so we don't drain the combo too fast. Running condition overload, because it's going to scale with all the different statuses to give us more damage, along with elementalist doing something slightly similar. Heavy attack efficiency and initial combo, so we'll gain initial combo permanently throughout the mission as we're killing. That means that we won't lose all the combo built up right away. More heavy attack efficiency plus giving us electricity on the build, which is a beautiful mod, and I'm so glad that I have this because it's pretty nice for something like this. And then obviously the galvanized steel for the crit chance, crit damage, and then reach. I didn't even bother with melee attack speed. Don't really need it. It's daggers. They're pretty quick on their own. And then the influence is just going to spread, and each individual spectral dagger is also going to spread influence. So this is pretty wild. Well, he said he was going to fall asleep, and he did. There he goes. He's been working his ass off a lot lately, so I don't blame him. I'll mute him real quick. He can text me if he needs to. Oh, no, he muted himself. There we go. Alright. I like Mott. It's a beautiful mission. The tile's just really pretty. It's open, it's closed, kind of depending on where you go, and the enemies are kind of varied with all factions under one umbrella. So you get to test your resistances and damage out against various resistances to its own regard. I mean, of course, Orokin are always going to have the resistance to radiation being lower, I believe it is. But here we go, Loki. The trick is just getting the incarnate charge. There it is. It's done. Now we're going. Yeah, see all those DOTs just going everywhere? The spectral daggers are doing work. Or from eyes, invisibility. Now we're also armor stripping. The kills are going to be faster. And we're spreading heat damage procs everywhere we're looking on the screen, basically. So, my only issue is the enemies aren't spawning fast enough. I used to have higher spawns when I lived in my previous state, but I moved to this one for work. But the trade-off is that it's a little bit more of a remote area where I'm living now, so my internet isn't exactly as strong as it used to be, meaning that my spawns won't be as high. This whole room used to be flooded with enemies back then, and it was roughly close to PC spawns, and I'm on PlayStation. So things in here. Yeah, if you don't have the Okina Prime Incarnate, I highly recommend picking it up. It is a game changer. And Orphan Eyes is recastable, which is beautiful. Any recastable skill, I absolutely love. So, those abilities are probably the ones that I seek the most when making builds. Anything that's recastable. Unless it's something that really just kind of shines as far as making a build a lot more viable. Like Roar, you can't really recast it without the augment, but it does good scaling, especially adding like a faction scaling factor to your build without having to mod for it. So that's always nice. Oh. Yep, there they go. Looking for enemies again. And melee influence is just doing so much work. It's actually insane. What I didn't go over was my companion, so I'm running a Darza Kavat. And I love that Kavat for the very reason that it adds crit chance and crit damage to your build, regardless of what you're using. Secondaries, melees, primaries. It's a really killer companion to have. So if you don't want to mod for too much crit chance and crit damage, you can always get one of those and it will give it to you. I can't wait to put shards on Loki. It's going to be beautiful. Just haven't really taken the time to do it, and I haven't really felt it was necessary either. So I've been running him for a while now like this without shards, and he just does so much damage. You can see we're just clearing the room. It doesn't seem like it's extremely fast, but it's pretty good. So the best way that I can say you can tell, depending on spawn rates, is what I was taught. You look at your mission progress. We're at 433 kills, right? And we've been in this 4 minutes, and that's still counting. So that just changed to 4 minutes. So we're getting a lot of kills per minute here, which is good. That's what you want. So you gauge it off of your kills per minute, at least in my opinion. And so if you can get roughly whatever I'm getting here, or even higher, like that is phenomenal. That is absolutely great. He's slowed down because I'm staring at him. Come here. Why are you up there? Why do you do this? There we go. Now what we could do is use that first ability. So this guy, now it's just going to be reflecting damage as everybody shoots him because he's now a target. Yep, and he died, but he reflected damage around. So I don't use that ability that much, but I do keep it on the build because I know there's lots of benefits to it for other game modes, which I haven't really tested Loki out in Cascade yet, but I know he is quite viable there. I have some friends who have run him quite a few times, and they used this augment for that. And that was originally what I designed this build for. And then I got the Okina Prime Incarnate and started running this, and just fell in love with it. Bringing melee back. So, not that it ever really left, but it's just been so much more fun than it has been in the last year or two since guns started taking over. Everything just feels so much more balanced. The changes, you know, they were a bit scary at first when they started nerfing melee and bringing guns more to the forefront of the game, but the changes are balanced, if you ask me. Everything has its place and does its job and does it well. And it takes a little bit more grinding, I think, towards like the end game to really see everything shine. But that's the point of playing anyway, is you want to get to that quote-unquote end game to reach this kind of point. So that's where we're at. Alright, so we hit 5 minutes. Let's see what happens here. I have a Parazon mod that gives me parkour velocity on finisher kills, so that's why I'm jetting around so fast now. So, let's see what we got here. 651 kills. Not bad. With Loki and just using the Okina Prime really is all it was. Like, and I wasn't really staying on top of my ability cast. That's good. So you can't really beat that, in my opinion. That's that's killing quick. That's a lot. And I think the only frames that I could really beat that with is like Saren or Ash. And probably surprised you're going to say Ash since he's a melee frame, just like Loki. Same thing. But you see, I decided to nerf Loki a little bit with the weapons I'm using because I'm not using guns. Ash, on the other hand, I've done some crazy things with. This gun's good. We'll run the other one. I found that the Tenet Glaxion is absolutely devastating with it. That's a pretty good weapon to run with him. If we're going for kill speed, like Aki Core and the dual I Core. And we run the Aki Core and we can run whatever. So, like I said, I have every config maxed out. Viral Heat, Viral Electric, wouldn't matter. Viral Heat's going to be really good. Let's see. This one is Magnetic Toxin. We get to pull enemies in with Magnetic using melee Vortex and getting Toxin DOTs on the enemies to pair with the Toxin that's already on the melees and Karnan. It's absolutely devastating. And then we're running Corrosive Magnetic Cold, so we're stripping armor. We're applying Magnetic procs to cut out the Overguard more quickly. We got Cold, which scales with our primary Frostbite. This weapon is disgusting. If you want to see some high kill counts, like you're just limited to your spawn rates at this point. I mean, Infested are easy. Let's just go with Grenier or something with armor. Again, this is one of my more favorite missions, and I've been running low on resources, so we'll just go for it. All right. See if we get an image go about it here. Yeah, we did.
And sending life support capsules your way.
Boom. Just, it's a chain weapon. Hits everything. Kill speed is insane. Get that melee going. Get the Incarnate charge. We're done. It's charged. It's killing. You move through the rooms, be quick, and then just turn around and look at all the damage numbers when things start spawning and running through those toxin clouds. Like, this just kills so fast, it's unreal. And then he gets lots of crit bonuses for being invisible naturally. I haven't even changed the arcanes on here, like Crepsolar or anything like that. I don't think. Maybe I did. But even if I didn't, like, I was getting, I think 12 minutes I was getting over 1,200 kills just from this setup alone. Run the Aki Core, charge it with a couple kills here, get the Viral Heat building. The heat builds fast, and it's an infinite DOT, so once it stacks really high, and it does lots of damage. So it ramps up with the more stacks that it has, and you don't necessarily need a high damage amount of heat, you just need to be able to stack a lot of it quickly. That's the point. The Viral is just going to kind of enhance the damage after the armor strips. We've been in this for 2 minutes, and we're at almost 200 kills. So, you know, we're almost at that 100 kills a minute, and it'll get faster. Just moves through, does work. Zada's Whisper, scaling all the DOTs. Like, we gotta just hit it at the top of the ramp. I don't even know how he did that. Just spray and pray, dude. absolutely insane. Oh, kill enemies with cold damage. There we go. Yeah, these chain weapons, any chain beam weapon, is absolutely crazy. Just hits everything on the map. It's actually nuts. Just melting everything. So these incarnates that they've come out with are absolutely wild. Like, I could level cap with this no problem. My only issue would be staying awake. So I don't really level cap much anymore. I haven't in at least a year or so. I've been too busy, working a lot, and just getting too tired. So there's a point where, like, you get to an age and you're like, eh, I'm not staying up that late anymore. So if I'm going to do a level cap, sometimes I'll have to plan out in the morning and just dedicate a whole day to it and do nothing but that. So that is if I'm level capping on a survival. If I'm doing like a cascade, I mean, I can do that in an hour and 20 minutes, but with a fast team. I know some guys that had solo level cap cascade before or gotten close to it. Yeah, I don't play Cascade enough anymore to really be that fast at it. So I'd have to go with some of my old buddies. Rocky Core just hits everything on the screen. Heat DOTs with viral, just absolutely melting everything. It's insane. The Rocky Core builds crit chance and status chance on its own. So you get up to, where's that thing? 240% status chance and crit chance. It's 60%, I want to say, for each tendril, and there's 4 of them. So 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 60, 240. So you're getting 420% status and crit chance on top of what's already been modded. Plus, I'm giving myself crit chance with Ash being invisible. And we have violence. So this is probably like the harder part, it's violence. But the cool part is, we already got all the DOTs from this melee going off. Violence doesn't really stand a chance, even if she did take away my invisibility. The Incarnate has been charged, and I still have another 127 seconds on it. Right there. So, no contest. Yeah, so we're coming up on 5 minutes, and then we'll just see how many kills we actually got. It's going to be very limited to my spawns, but like I said before I moved, my spawn rates were way higher than this. So, but work is work, and I love my job. I've been doing it for 12 years. I wouldn't change a thing. So I'm going to go where the work is at. That's what I do. All right.
A valuable lesson.
Yeah, 547 kills. The Loki actually killed faster, surprisingly. They got kill speed. TTK, that's usually what I'm aiming for. If I'm going for straight damage, like, you'll know that I'm just packing some weapons that hit hard, and I don't really care if I'm going for the most kills. I'm just trying to get the high damage numbers itself. So that would be something like my Avara or even my Kalervo. Using Wrathful Advance. Avara, absolutely insane. So 2 purple shards for the melee crit damage when energy is over 500, which it absolutely is. And then just melee crit damage shards. The crit damage percent multiplier on this is 11.4 times. I actually had this at 13 once, and I don't remember why. Might have been an invigoration. We already have good crit chance on it, and then we're getting an additional, it's 170 plus 313%. And I think it also, this build I think also might be using, yeah, it's using Crepsolar and then Energize. So we're getting another 30% power strength on top of that to scale that Wrathful Advance, which, that's completely unnecessary. If it's 300% or higher, that's enough to red crit. So now you're just aiming at different tiers of red crits, which that's a whole different ballgame. So that's where you're just straight deleting enemies. It's not even fair to the game. Like, let's be honest. You've seen this on a couple of builds, but I think I used it in one of my past streams. This is a fun incarnate to have, the Despair. It does a lot of work. And it's also a silent weapon, so it doesn't trigger her invisibility to turn off, which is pretty nice. This, I believe I was running with Hush. Yep. So that I'm not losing her invis. And then we have the viral slash build with Hunter Munitions. And this thing just hits really hard. It's been a lot of fun. So, another one would be Kalervo. And I did have 2 red shards on here. His power strength was 411%, but I dropped it. It's already high enough. I was getting over 1,000% crit chance. Not necessary. Absolutely not necessary. So, we got Bellicose and Augmented. We're just doing so much. I think the total power strength was like 543% or something stupid like that. Doesn't need to be that high. So I have an invigoration on for the duration. So I have 100% additional duration on the build. Which just makes it really comfortable. So whenever the invigoration's gone and I get some more red shards, I'll put those on here for duration just to make it feel smoother to play, not having such a short amount of time, which is usually about 12 seconds on this instead of 22.
Did the operator enjoy this witticism?
Yeah, I aimed at that. This gun hits like a freaking truck. So when we're scaling damage and all that, like, you want to use this, something like this. It just hits so hard with its incarnate. I can't even explain it. Like, it was just deleting enemies. It was insane. And it's just a slash build. Like, nothing special. But for some reason, I got the 7.1 times crit damage multiplier on it, and it's just doing work. So I do have a pretty good ribbon for utility. Fire rate, mag capacity, it's got some crit chance on there. Hunter Munitions, just a classic build. Nothing crazy. Fractalized reset, because you have a 4-second reload time, so you're spending like a week and some change trying to reload this motherfucker. So usually that fractalized reset with Kalervo, I can just cast my Wrathful Advance at the floor, and that's fast enough to go ahead and just reload it real quick. I was messing around with a new weapon, Jack Tag, because I've been interested in this blast status, and so this has a unique mod called Vulcan Blitz. Enemies explode on death, dealing 300 blast damage, plus 60% enemy max health in a 6-meter radius. The blast damage explosion is a 5-meter radius. What I don't know is if that adds on to the 5-meter radius or if it just is 1 meter longer. Hard to tell. I'm using melee duplicate to go ahead and get those blast procs to hit twice, but blast procs already hit twice, so they're actually hitting like 3 times, maybe 4. And then I happen to have a ribbon on it, so I just wanted to go ahead and use it. So I just rolled it until I got something that I felt was usable, and this felt good. Gives me initial combo, melee damage, and electricity DOT, which I like running blast electric. So there it is. Killing blow, because we're doing heavy attacks with Wrathful Advance, and then also if you just use Wrathful Advance for the crit chance, because it only has 15%. With Kalervo, we're getting so much, it's going to red crit anyway. We're in that tier, so I can just walk up to something and golf swing it like Happy Gilmore, and it just explodes. It's kind of cool. See if we can go to Sim. Show this off. Actually, we could just do it in Mission. Collective Curse also is really good for that. I need to level this anyway. I'll run it public, and then If anybody wants to join, we'll be in the void on Mott on Steel Path if you have it.
Each enemy is more powerful than before.
I also use Wrathful Advances on the building tool. You'll see me do that a lot. Don't be
My
down there.
support has been cut off. They're trying to choke
You
you
son
out.
of a bitch.
Hold on.
I don't like that
I'm
spawn.
sending
I have to go
auxiliary
through the
life
hallway. Feels weird.
Tenno, I'm detecting
Get our survivability on first.
use the synthesis scanner to track the creature.
It also has blast procs on slam attack. I don't think it has to be heavy slam, because that's just a light slam. But a heavy slam would do it too. And then the description on the unique trait is that it launches enemies. Now, there is is it an arcane or a mod that says enemies will trigger X on launch, or if they're flung by melee attacks? I'll have to look into it. It might be kind of fun to test with this weapon too. So, there we go. Now, the reason I chose a hammer as well, and this one, the blast procs I'm trying to stack in quick succession, right? This has crushing ruin on it. So the stance attack, when you aim and move forward and just basic hit, unless you finish the whole combo, it does that slam. If you just do the first spin, or even the first two, it multi-hits tons of stuff. And then I say like, oh shit, 3.8 million. But yeah, like, just that spin alone right there is enough to, there you go. So, not paying attention to my overguard, but you can see that chain. It was just kind of wild. So, let me use this. Boop. So it kind of swings slow when you just swing it like this. You use the stance and you do the attack there, and it's way faster. Kind of cool. So I was using it for just that. Bucket curse. Was gonna bucket curse though, guys. We'll just swing. Blast procs just detonating everything. Also, they're burning. Probably my companion, if I had to guess. Oh, there's my target.
Tenno, prepare
Hold on.
for life support.
There it is.
I've been meaning to scan this guy for a while.
Tame this creature so you may
Oh,
perform
you
the
bitch.
synthesis I require.
Don't you dare duplicate on me. I can't even tell what I'm getting or what I'm not. Moving around too much. Ah, we got him. Cool. Just stare at him long enough, it'll happen. Hey, look at that.
Specimen hunter.
Ooh, argon crystal.
Sanctuary's goal of preservation.
I think it marks it for people now. So, one of the spawn points for the Acolyte is going to be right here. And that's kind of a funny thing that people don't really know all the time is where spawn points are for Acolytes. It really is dependent on like who the Acolyte's targeting, because if everyone is in like an organized squad in the same room doing a camp farm, and you're in like a back room, you can force the Acolyte to spawn where you want. So that's always an option when you're doing organized farms. But when it comes to like just regular gameplay with a random team, you're not always going to get it. So it'll be where you're looking So like if you're in a room with an organized team, say we're like in this corner, this is like a hallway, you can have everyone look in like a corner somewhere, and chances are that spawn point will be where everyone's staring, or like within a certain radius of it. Kind of interesting. You can force the acolyte to spawn in certain places sometimes. The Tenno Space Program. Freaking love that. He's just hitting the ceiling. Got it. He bounced. Oh shit. Oh, that was funny.
The operative has just made their first discovery.
Okay, I won't play with my food. God.
Extraction is available.
Thank you for the energy. I needed it. Yeah, that shit's so funny. The Tenno Space Program. Everybody join the party. Let's go. Swing, bada bada, swing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. I hit the ceiling with him. That's great. You spin me right round, baby, right round. There he goes. And Ara's dancing over there.
We're running out of time.
Oh,
Consider extraction.
that's a problem. We'll get that into.
Life support activated.
There we go.
Life support has been replenished.
Oh man, that's funny. Ha, you thought you were gonna hit me. Good try there, buddy. Yeah, I have other melees that I prefer to use with Kalervo, but this just kind of seemed like a lot of fun. I've been going through my ribbons lately, and I just have so many of them. I got like 180 something ribbons. I think I'm at the cap or close to it, whatever it is. And, you know, I just decided I'm going to pick a ribbon with a weapon I haven't really used and go for it. You know, go for a build and make that thing fun. So, it's in the game for a reason, and I want to use it. I keep everything that I've ever really made, so might as well make something out of it. No point keeping it if I'm not going to, right? I do have a loadout designed so that people can help me make builds and synergies and give me ideas or maybe give me a challenge. So maybe one of these days I'll do a stream dedicated to just that and have you guys choose my build or something. So it could be a lot of fun. If you guys have any ideas or questions on something, just ask by all means. I forgot I wasn't even using Roar. I do have Roar on the build. Oh yeah, that's so much damage. Holy cow. And I'm using roar now. That's kind of nice. Four, where'd you go? Did we kill you already? Please say we did. No, we didn't. But now we did. Nice. And Aris. That's a frame that's a lot of fun. I did a build with him, but I haven't played him in a while. I need to go check out some of his changes. So, after his rework, I did a fun build with him, and then I just put him away. But definitely a very viable frame now after all the changes, and I remember it being very good. I just have other frames I prefer to play, honestly. But he is a lot of fun, and I'll probably revisit him and start working in those shards after I get a couple other things dialed in, like the Nova build and all that. Oh shit! He missed the freaking. He missed the platform. I can't get over that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so we're using this gun here, the Strun Prime with its incarnate. See, it takes forever to load it. That guy's just contemplating the wall over here. So we got enough there, we'll charge it. This thing's a monster. Just gotta find a group of enemies to hit. Yeah, like that. Just absolutely insane.
Life support levels. Extraction is your best option.
Yet again, with that life support not going very well.
Life support activated.
Get that overguard up. Make sure we don't die. Takes forever to charge. Casting ability, you get that reload speed. And the arcane. Yeah, it's just a basic slash build with the Strun Prime. Nothing crazy. Viral slash. It just does so much damage. That's those galvanized mods, so I know someone was asking about them earlier. So the galvanized mods just carry the guns so far. And then they started adding galvanized mods for melee to let melee catch back up. So very impressive. Where's the, oh. Alright. This life support struggles, so we're gonna go ahead and bounce. I believe it's down here. Yeah. Oh, nice. Free item stuff. Hell yeah. Oh, well, I guess we're getting the acolyte, so I'll go back to him so he's not fighting it by himself.
Additional life support has arrived.
Get it, dude. Kill him. You got this. Am I going the right way? I have no idea. I am not going the right way. He'll get it. Grab the free steel essence. There it is. Good shit, my boy.
Extraction is ready.
You did it. Right on. Made him sit down. Good shit. Okay. So. Let us get to extraction.
Life support activated.
Right on. Beautifully done on our end. Beautifully done.
The importance of clarity.
Yeah, this thing has been quite fun. Definitely not like a top tier weapon, but can't say I'm disappointed with it at all. It's a blast.
Look what our Tenno op.
And like I said, I mentioned I had the Stug and I did some funnies with that. We'll go ahead and show that off in a minute. Let's see. We'll grab Revenant just because he's tanky and the Stug doesn't kill quickly. Yeah, I put that much form into it. I'm not ashamed. Okay, I put 8 form into this. I thought I had put 9, but no. And then let's see. I think I put in Innervate to give us that crit chance, and that's kind of what's carrying it really. You can shoot the alt fire or you can shoot the primary fire. It doesn't matter. And then we're really just relying on this to give us as much damage as possible. We're getting blast, radiation, magnetic corrosive with electricity. It is just, it's painful. And like, if you want to know what the ribbon is, I actually have a really freaking nice ribbon. Damage, crit damage, cold, minus damage to Grenier, not the best, but I mean, still should be doing work regardless. It has just been a blast. So we'll go kill an acolyte with it. What's really interesting is that with the Stug specifically, not that it's like, you know, a top tier weapon by any means, but it does kill quicker than I thought. So the blobs stack and they detonate as they stack. So it's kind of, it exceeded my expectations, but it's not like what I would want for most endgame content.
Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
Mesmer skins, using Zada's Whisper, and then just, yeah, he blows up. You're definitely not going to be killing quickly with this. You know, nothing like we were seeing earlier. And I'm not the greatest shot in the world either. And this thing lobs. When I say like it has dropped, like, no, see how that just dropped so low compared to where I'm aiming? Even with the projectile speed on there, it's still not quite what you're looking for. So you got to be pretty close to the target, which is why I'm tanking with Revenant for this mostly. But we're going to lose so much life support if we just try killing everything with stun. It's not even practical. It's just more for funnies to say that I did it. And it's pretty funny when you do kill an acolyte with it. I'm pretty sure if you ran public, which I'm on public right now, it's surprisingly, but if you ran publicly and there's a competition to see who can kill the acolyte faster, and you brought the Stug, you're not going to be the one doing it. You'll kill it if it was just if it was not a race and just more of like who has the fastest kill time. But if you're racing to see who hits that thing first, you're going to find somebody that just one-shots it. And again, we're doing the Blast Toxin build on this one. I mean, I don't necessarily go with other shields on Revenant, but still, the DOTs are doing work. You can see that. The stuff, here it is. What is kind of cool is I have the fire rate so high, it functions almost like a beam weapon. You can just sweep over a group and it'll kind of hit everyone a little bit here and there. And then you can go in and melee them And there's so many different statuses on the stud right now that you can just kind of scale your CO. Oh, there's a guy. We'll see if we can get some damage with the stud with someone else in here. It's a Mirage. Probably not. Oh, I've seen Sean before. So we'll probably not get the Acolyte kill with the stud, but we'll see. Yeah, I've seen Sean around a few times. Pretty chill guy, honestly. Oh yeah, those blast procs are pretty nuts. There's the Acolyte. Probably gonna spawn over here. Oh, come here. Where are you? Eat my stud. Do it. Oh yeah. Yeah, those stug blobs, once they stack, it's pretty devastating. It's just trying to get them to stack because they move so much. It's a really slow projectile, even with projectile speed and fire rate on there. It's hard to get those all to land. At least for me. I think if I played it on mouse and keyboard, I'd have an easier time, but I don't always use my mouse and keyboard on my PlayStation for Warframe. I'll use it with Titania, and that's about it. Titania is one of those frames, and that's an interesting build I'll have to show you guys at some point. She's a unique frame that really changes the way I think about this game every time I play her. With everything that she has going for her in her kit, and just how versatile she can actually be in most missions. It's quite unique, plus just her own ability to traverse the map so quickly and so fluidly is really something to behold. But I usually play her with a mouse and keyboard because it's so much easier to control her in flight and shoot and melee all at once, rather than with my controller. So I don't bullet jump with her, so there's no point in trying to bullet jump. I can control that way, which I have an easier time with the controller. But if you ever get the chance to see me play with a mouse and keyboard, maybe I'll stream tomorrow if I don't have anything going on, and I play a mouse and keyboard with the Tanya, you'll see a difference in my aiming. It's a little bit more precise. Not great, but a little bit. I'm not the most accurate individual by any means. That's why I love AoE weapons the most, or anything that just hits the screen. that Stug just tearing through the overyard. All the blobs building up. So it's not doing great damage. It does do pretty good with the athlete though, but it is what it is. It's the Stug. It's honestly like not the best weapon, but I made it semi-viable as best I could. Another way to make the Stug hit harder, which is also why I brought Revenant, your thralls take more damage from you. So if you shoot them with the Stug, they'll take more increased damage. Or just more damage in general. Pretty nice. So get rid of that overguard. Enthrall them, shoot them with a stack of it. And it deals more damage. I mean, it's not going to completely melt them. I know the alt fire hits a little harder too. There we go. Here, we'll eat the Stug. Oh shit. Okay. Nice. Oh, he might have hit him with the. I think he's running to despair. Oh, he got the appetite. Anyway. Shit was funny. Oh, there's the acolyte. It's fine. It's wonderful. Keep this blast block down. Balance can. Yeah, there you go. Get shorts and some Mesmer skins. If you're running a Revenant and you're not sharing your Mesmer skin with somebody at all, I feel like it's a really beneficial mod to have on your build, and it does not take much away from Revenant at all to have your Mesmer skin shared with a team. It's just one of the most beneficial mods with him, making him the least selfish frame in the game. He gives so much to the team just by doing that. So if you're ever playing Revenant, you can get that mod. I highly recommend putting it on there. You're going to make a lot of people happy when they play with you. Let's be honest. So Revenant can always do a lot of damage. Because people tend to run this build specifically, just Exotis Whisper Revenant. And if you put that mod on there, it's like you go from being a dick to not being a dick, in my opinion. I played with some Revens, they don't have it on there. They just go for all the damage and then they just leave. And sometimes, like, I play with guys where they have builds like that and, like, they're cool. You know? But I've also played with some guys where they just, you can tell they're there to just gloat. Like, it's not fun. But having the ability to benefit your team, especially when you have a frame like Revenant who doesn't really have that in his kit to begin with, and having that as an augment for him was just like so amazing. It really adds a lot of survivability to everyone around you, which is really awesome. I don't think Shorn's running it, but you can get the total eclipse augment, I think is what it is. It shares your eclipse buff. That's also really nice. I was running my Alara one time, and a guy I became friends with, he had it on, and he had Invigoration. So I had over 1,000% freaking Eclipse, along with my Wrathful Advance, Alara, and I was hitting damage cap. Like, it was actually nuts. The Alara build was designed to get close to damage cap, but I was definitely hitting it 10. It was pretty fun. So, he was playing Mirage, and I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head at the moment, but like, he thought he was doing a lot of damage, and then he looked at the mission and progress, and he's like, "You're Avara, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Dude, I've been hitting damage cap for the last 5 minutes. That's gotta be you." Because I haven't hit those numbers yet. It was pretty cool. Yeah, you'll meet lots of interesting people in this community. It's one of the best game communities I think I've ever experienced in my life. Aside from one where I played a PC game when I was younger called Vindictus, and that was a blast. I was in the guild in that game. It was an MMORPG. Never been another game like it. They are releasing Vindictus on console, but it's going to be single player, I believe. And then there's also a new game coming out which looks very similar called Chrono Odyssey, which I will be playing at some point because that looks really cool. I wanted to get into the alpha test for it, but haven't had the time. So that's a game worth checking out, is Chrono Odyssey. If you haven't heard of it, definitely worth checking out if you like MMORPGs. So that was my background. Playing on a PC when PC wasn't cool. Started playing on like a freaking, what was it? A Windows like 95? I don't even know. Yeah, if you cast your enthrallment on the acolyte, by the way, like I just did, it'll take increased damage. So that was pretty good. I used to play video games out of cereal boxes growing up. That was my childhood. That and running around in orchards. So I grew up in the country, in the countryside. Alright, we're coming up on that 15 minutes, so.
Look what our Tenno operative just found. They could not do this without you.
There it goes. Yeah, those blast procs are still going off. That crap's crazy. They're like leader with these guys. There it goes. Heh. Nice. The electricity stun locks them. The blast just circulates. It's such a good synergy. Blast electric. Yeah, if you can mod for that, you won't be disappointed. There it goes.
Fought well. Good dance, all.
Did all right. I don't think we necessarily got the final kill on those acolytes, but we helped. And he definitely did the most damage, I'm sure. He's not going to tell me. But that was pretty fun. So that's the stug I was working on. An ungodly amount of format into it for no reason other than the fact to say that I just have a build with it. Pretty great. Yeah. So that's the stug. Alright. Well, I will think about doing this Titania tomorrow. Probably a couple other builds if you guys want to see them. So, but we'll go over that on the next stream. For now, it's getting pretty late. I'm going to go ahead and log off for the evening. So you all have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining. Catch you later.